word of wisdom for somebody
Yeah.
I mean, for me as a parent as well,
Yeah.
to understand that you need to understand the level of your children.
Oh, yeah,
and
that's
know how
it.
to apply discipline.
It's important.
Right. Now, one of the areas that you touched on was about absentee fathers. I mean, especially like for our Achieving Ladies Conference that happened in March.
Yeah.
We had a man of God that was talking about absentee
Oh, yeah.
father and the effect
Yeah.
that it has on children. What's your input in that area?
Now, unfortunately, the trend has continued to increase. And there are so many fathers that are even watching this broadcast that, well, you may have every reason to be absent in the life of your children. Every reason in quote. Well, no, their mom did. And you check it out, it's always a problem with the mom, with the wife. Especially if you hear from the fathers. They say, no, it's because of their so and so. But at the end of the day,
Okay, the men making that excuse. Well,
that's what you hear.
Okay.
You hardly hear it that, well, the child did this and that. No. Well, I don't want to say their mom is doing this and that. So that's why I left them on their own, their mom to take care of this.
Okay.
And then the society continues to suffer for it.
Okay.
But unfortunately, posterity is coming back to judge. Posterity is coming. And now when men do these kind of things, they forget that at some point they're going to get old. Get old. And then the society is the one that now begins to reap the terrible effect. And the father also is in the society. When there's trouble, look at the tensions in London some years back now, where the youths, just went on rampage. Can you imagine if real fathers were in the house? Will your child leave your house, go and join such a thing? No. But it's to let you know that in the society, not Britain alone, virtually all over the world, the trend is increasing. And what I can say is that for no reason should a father be absent in the life of his children. A real father.
Okay, so here we talk about, you mentioned about them making, whatever situation that they find themselves saying is the woman that is the fault.
Oh, yeah.
How can they now practically combat, such a situation and still be able to concentrate on the children?
The only way to do it is by humility.
Okay.
Humility comes with responsibility. If we stay at the point of, who is right, who is wrong, the things will just keep on decaying. Somebody must come down for someone.
Okay.
And when it comes to leadership, this is where the man comes in. But unfortunately, we have twisted it around. Say, no, I'm the leader, I'm the head of this family. Just like I used to say that when a man begins to say it again and again, no, I'm the head of this family, I'm the man in this house, that means he himself is doubting it. Okay. If you are doing what you need to do, you won't need to reaffirm it to the people that you know in the first place. So it's a matter of humility. Everybody needs to come down for the sake of something.
For the sake of something.
Yeah.
Can a man be a successful father or make it a successful father without God?
It will be difficult, very difficult.
Okay.
Because God is the father of all. That's from where we take the model of how to be a true father. So without him now, you will just be, going in the bush when there is a beaten path to take. Then I want to carve out my own way. It always ends in frustration. After having put in so much, you get out so little. That's what happens without God. That's why the Bible was talking about, it spoke about this in tithe. It said, you brought in, you put in so much,
And you
brought in so little. So that's what happens when anyone tries to do it outside of God. Now, it doesn't matter about the religion. God is God. God is sovereign. God is not about religion now. God is God. Take a cue from how he has fathered you. Right. Take a cue from how he's put you in this world, how he has preserved you, how he has nurtured you, how he has kept his eyes on you. And then you will know whether you are being a true model of the God to your own children or not.
Because I'm wondering, is that the reason why a lot of people are obviously having issues and struggling with their father, with being a father, because they don't have God? And you find in the church that it's a lot easier for women to reach out and accept the gospel than for men too.
No, that's the same thing. And unfortunately, it doesn't matter whether they're in church or not in church. There are people in church, there are men in church that are not submitted to God.
Okay.
So to be in church is one thing. To be in God is another thing. There are 1,000, I can tell you, 1,001 people that are in church, but they are not in God. I've told you of this particular family I was, speaking with, and then the woman was trying to open up so that, for divine counsel over the family, over the home, over the issues around. And then all of a sudden, the man just burst out. What do you mean by spilling all the details of the secrets of our life? To a man, everybody has his own secrets. Everybody has his own issues. Why should you be telling him the details? I quickly have to say, in fact, madam, it was too much. I don't even want to know because me too, I have my own.
Okay.
What do I have that I cannot share? If it will bring help, it will bring direction and give me ease of life. Now, so unfortunately, that's the problem. Men are in church, many are in church, but they are not even submitted to God. Not submitted to God. So it's not about just being in church or saying, oh God, this. There are areas of their life that they have not allowed God. That's where I said, ego, for instance, begins to come in. No. I'm the man. She's the one supposed to come and beg me. Are we talking about begging? We are talking about posterity.
Don't go away. We'll be right back after this. I hope that you enjoyed my interview with Rev Dapo Adegboyega of World Evangelism Bible Church International Headquarters. Stay tuned. Exclusive event hire services, adding class to your events. We offer a one-stop service to all our clients. Our team is formed of the best of the event industry. It would be our pleasure to put our extensive experience and expertise to work for you. We manage and plan weddings, birthdays, christenings, anniversaries, celebration, parties, team building events, and many more. Today for a quotation on 0207 064 9929 or 07540 254 342 or 07956 821 246. Or visit us on our website at www.eehireservices.co.uk.
Invite you to our monthly program titled Hour of Deliverance. Every second Saturday of every month, time 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. Ministering Pastor Julius Haydewale. Come and experience your breakthrough, deliverance, and total freedom. Also, join us for our regular services. Every Sunday for our family worship service at 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Every Monday morning, Destiny on Fire, 11 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Every Wednesday for our Holy Ghost service at 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. and Friday for Hour of Favor from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Venue, LCCM House, Kemp Road, Chadwell Health, Dagenham, Essex, RM81ST. For further details or appointments for counseling, please call 0208 597 6770 0793 956 5981. Your appointed time has come.
You're welcome back to this afternoon show on Praise Talk Show, Sky Channel 591, Faith World TV. I hope that you've been enjoying my interview this afternoon with my father in the Lord, Rev Dapo Adegboyega of World Evangelism Bible Church International Headquarters. He has been speaking to the fathers. Speaking to the fathers and, touching on some very vital points that would help any man out there. Earlier we talked about the fact that fatherhood is not just a title.
Not at
It
all.
is a position and a responsibility.
Yeah.
And every man has, the responsibility to look at a role model
It's
to help
essential.
them through this path. You've also talked about the fact that no man can make it without God, whether they're in church or out of church, because some of the ones that are in church are not even connected with God.
That's it.
So it's been such a blessing. But I want to ask a question, sir, because, God made man and he made woman.
Yeah.
And then he made children.
That's it.
So can a man make it or be a successful father without a woman?
Successful father without a woman, it's difficult. It's like trying to survive on one leg. It's difficult. It's difficult. It's not impossible, of course. Different things happen. The wife may be diseased, and for different kind of experience sake, the man is not willing to remarry. Different things could have happened.
Right.
So, but with the grace and the help of God, that's where God comes in. That's where the God factor comes in. With the help of God, a man can, just like so many wonderful women are training great, wonderful children without fathers today. So many wonderful women, I tell you, all over the world have raised great men, great women, single-handedly.
But it wasn't meant to be so.
It was not meant to be so.
Okay.
It becomes laborious. You discover that these women or these men, they become very tired.
Yes.
Because to be able to make that impact is not cheap. The load of two people being carried by one. Because what a woman will do, the details that a woman will pay attention to is different. It's not about spirituality. The things that I will, slag off, my wife will be the one to pay attention to those details. And these are all the things that comes together. Some things that I will do, she will, it's a balancing act,
Right.
which a child needs from time to time.
And so with this issue, with obviously people being in a situation where they're raising children on their own, single parents, in society, single parents in the church, what can the church do to help and correct some of these issues?
Well, one of the things we can do is by, thank God for a wonderful program like this, Praise Talk Show, where we enlighten people.
Right.
That, number one, we need to come to a place where we understand that we don't know it all. As much as, praise God for my life, I have people I speak to over my life.
Right.
I have fathers that I look up to. There are areas that I still get it wrong. I've always said is that I do not see myself as superhuman any day, any time that I will not be able to say sorry at any point in time. So we need to first and foremost get these men to that point whereby they understand that they don't know it all. So once we get them to that point, then we can now help them to get to the appropriate quarters for the appropriate help. Unfortunately, many of them seek help from their friends who know better, who are even in worse situations.
Okay.
And so that's why you see a man come home, the man you left home, and then now he begins to act in a very terrible way because he's discussed with some friends. And they've told me, no, you have to put her where she belongs. You have to, no, you can't take that. And now that makes it worse. So now seeking help at the right places. Also being able to open up is one of the things that men are just, unfortunately, that's where we are built. We bottle up a lot of things. We don't open up. So we want to feel ourselves to be the superhuman, superhero. And so when your pastor asks you, how's everything going? Everything is fine. Everything is fine until the woman comes and tells you that everything is upside down. That's what it means. That everything is upside down. So we engage in this kind of stuff.
But that's him telling you that he's failing. He doesn't want to tell you that he's failing.
That's the problem. That's what I'm saying. So we need to get them to that point whereby it's not, nobody brought anything from outside the world.
Yeah.
We all learn.
Yeah.
We learn from one another. So in this area of fatherhood as well, we must learn. We must be humble enough to learn. And that's the way life is. Unless one now learns from the bitter experience, but you don't have to wait to learn. from bitter negative experiences. Some people have gone through it. Learn from them. Open up. Discuss. So one of the things the church is doing is in those areas also having meetings from time to time where we speak to men, encourage men, challenge men, and then also encourage them to open up in a spiritual atmosphere where they can get the right counsel. Not just in the pub where they get a drunk counsel. Okay. You know, when you open up in different places, you get the counsel of the spirit that is in that place.
Okay.
You know, you open up in a bar, you get the counsel of bar, because that's the principality in that area. And that's the way it is.
Sounds like a name of a demon.
You know.
Wow. You know, so men have to be able to open up.
It's
you know?
important.
And I see how you relate to the men in our church. I mean, the last time that you had a meeting, it was amazing when I turned, none of my business, but I turned to look and I saw the amount of men that were gathered, you know, and you took time out to speak to them.
Yes.
You know, and how successful have you been? I know I keep using the word success.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that you've achieved it, but how successful have you been able to reach out to the men in your circle?
Now, it's important, you know, that we say this because, of course, from time to time, things come up and we do, and we want to reassess whether it's making any impact.
Yeah.
And, you know, in one of those ways in which I will know is by the feedback, of course. The feedback, the maturity. Look at, for instance, you have seen an upsurge of men being involved in different areas of the church now, taking up responsibility for this, taking up responsibility for that. And on top of that, I remember after the last year's Father's Day service, which I came so hard, you know, so hard, so lovingly on the men and everybody. You know, I for one, know that a lady came to me and said, you know what, sir, my husband has been the best since after that service. Wow. She came, she told me in person that it's as if we are just married now. Wow. My husband has just turned to be a completely new person. And then, of course, some people will be offended as well. But there, you know, these kind of feedbacks are quite helpful, are interesting, so that we keep on doing it more. So that, you know, day by day, some will get it again, another will get it as we are talking now. Some are getting it. Yeah. Some may want to switch up the TV and say, what's he talking about? Well, you know.
Who is he?
Yeah, you know what's he talking about. But the fact of the case is, every man knows deep inside him that either whether he's failing or he's making it. Right. We may not just admit it, but we know. That's the fact of the case.
And touching on that area, research has shown that when a man is involved in the life of their child, they succeed better in school. They you know, their temperament is much better to get along with and get on with. Now, what happens in a situation, or what would you have to say in a situation when a man is not educated enough to help their children through school? What can they do?
It's not about intellectual education.
Okay.
Fatherhood is not about education.
Okay.
You know, I hardly have time to teach my children school stuff. You understand? But what I teach them is what school will not teach them. Okay. That's the essence of fatherhood. School will teach them, you can send them to tutor who will explain details of this to them. But the impact of the father is not the same as a teacher. Okay. So it's not about whether the father is educated or not educated. It's about a positive role model in practical things of life, which the child may never get in school. Up to the point, for instance, I tell people, I said, when you are in the car with your family, you may love to enjoy a particular kind of song, worldly song, but don't forget that you are telling your children that's the song they should be listening to. You may be enjoying it, oh, children, hey, keep quiet, don't make noise, you know. It's sticking in their memory. So that's not about education. So even if it's education, we are talking about informal education, with the things they pick up from you. So it's not about education at all, completely. And what you are giving them is much more valuable than that education. Many people, with the impact of their father, without education, you see them high. It's about character. It's about attitude, which school may not be able, usually is not able to teach them. So it's not about academic intelligence. No, not at all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You just took me back to a conversation I had with my son this morning. He said to me, Mom, why you always listen to gospel music? I said, because that's the music that I listen to. And then he said, but other people listen to other types of music. And then he mentioned a couple of other names. And he said, and she lies.
That's the way it is. That's the way it is.
You're just saying that because, you know, I listen to the music because that's what I listen to.
That's it.
But he's picked on that this is what Mommy listens to and this is what somebody else listens to.
You will be shocked at how much of the things you do that these children are already trying to replicate.
Yes.
You didn't take them into a classroom to teach them. You were just living your life. They are following you. They are picking it, and it is getting really, really detailed into their system.
Wow.
That's the way it is.
And how much activities do you do with your children that you would advise people to do? Because that was one of the things that you talked about, involvement.
Oh, yeah.
We've talked about not just the
connection.
Yes, the connection, the playtime.
Yes.
The playtime.
It's essential because, you know, I usually tell people, I said, oh, yes, I could be a reverend at church. I'm not a reverend at home. I'm daddy, I'm husband, I'm, you know, lover, everything at home. I play football recently in the sitting room. Playing football, I sprained my ankle with my son. I'm still trying to maneuver. Now, you know, and this is what grows up with them.
Right.
Gives them the balance. That's what Dad is always there for them. Not only to correct them, but to also play with them. You know, but when you are always waiting for them to make a mistake and that's when you come in, it can't work. So you must always be there, be involved with them. You may not be so physically whatever, but of course, in some little whatever they are able to do, let them. It impacts so much on their emotional and psychological balance, which gives them an edge of advantage, you know, in life. And that's what parents, daddies, fathers that I know with their children are missing out, not only missing out, also removing from the balance of their children.
Before we go on a short break, you mentioned one of your quotes was that someone that has a father would grow feathers and go further in life.
Yes.
Can you just expand on that?
Yes, it's from one of the fathers in the faith. He said, fathers help you to grow feathers to fly further in life. Because that's what, you know, what Isaac Newton said. He said, if I have seen any further, it's by standing on the shoulders of those that have gone ahead of me. Okay. So that's what fathers do. Fathers help to blaze the trail, makes your journey in life easier. That's what fathers are meant to do. That's why, you know, many of us that are products of fathers, great fathers, our struggle, our sweat is reduced. And there are so many fathers that are watching us, and you are not there for your children. You are just making these children to toil, to sweat needlessly. And unfortunately, it becomes something that grows with them, and they now continue to impact that same whatever. If they are not able to break that cycle, it continues. The entire society suffers for it.
Okay. When we come back, we'll be talking about the prayer meeting that God has led you to host at the church every third Saturday of the month.
Yes.
And your statement was that women pray, but men must pray.
Men must
Don't
pray.
go away. We'll be right back after this.